And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, it is Sunday, the Sunday post-Halloween Havoc, but pre-Halloween. And also, Tyler, happy anniversary. How you doing?
Happy anniversary, my friend. I am grateful. I'm doing well today. It's also our last episode of October. Such a monumental month here at GI. Happy 4 years of the podcast to you as well, my friend.
Thanks for clarifying that. We're doing this again.
We may have mentioned it once or twice this month. No, man, it's great. It's great to see you. I'm happy to be here. How you been?
Been good. Been doing the kid Halloween dance gimmick thing at elementary schools. I imagine that it would have been this Friday if Halloween wasn't on Friday. That is a dangerous game, having Halloween on a Friday. That is a dangerous game. So we're going out with friends to trick or treat. I imagine it won't be just trick or treating. So I was looking at the calendar thinking like, oh yeah, we're probably going to hang out, maybe have a few beverages, maybe just sit by the fire afterward and eat our weight and candy, whatever it might be. And then I saw I got a haircut at like 7:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
You gotta look good for YouTube. I'm not mad at you, but the morning right after Halloween is a little dicey, is it not?
It is a little bit rough. Not just for me. I imagine the person that cuts my hair is probably going to be like, oh, I got to get up really early after I'm going to be up probably pretty late. But a good excuse to come home early and go to bed early. Because honestly, that at this stage of my life, that sounds better than anything I could do otherwise. Hey, do you want to go to that concert? I want to be at the concert. I don't want to go to the concert. There's a difference. I don't want to get ready. I don't want to drive and park. I don't want to do.
I don't want to pay for parking. Yeah.
I want to be in there when it starts. I want to be teleported to that spot so I can enjoy it and then teleport out. If I can do that, I'm there. If I can't, probably not going to see you.
Yeah, that resonates. Yeah, you know, I'm right there with you. Halloween on a Friday is, I think it's going to be a vibe. It's going to be different, but yeah, I can't believe it's already here, man. That's definitely happening in a few days. And I did not tell you this. I wanted to save it for on air. I've been struggling to figure out what am I going to be for Halloween this year. And now being back in the classroom, there is more motivation for me to actually dress up because we have that day in front of a hopefully attentive audience of students. So I have decided, Brad Winchester, I'm revealing this is breaking news. This is breaking here on GI. I purchased a Stone Cold Steve Austin costume for Halloween.
Let's go.
Now, mind you, if we rewind the clock back to 2021, I proudly dressed as Orange Cassidy to school, and no one had any idea who I was. The costume, I popped biggest for the costume out of anyone I encountered all Halloween. I think this will be a nice change because I'll still exist in the pro wrestling world. But also, I think Stone Cold Steve Austin is more recognizable, widespread than is a freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. So I'm quite excited. I will probably update you before next week's show. But I'm excited to update our audience on the hopefully riveting success that is my costume this year. Halloween's on a Friday, man. I'm excited for it. It should be good. We get to stay up late and, like you said, eat our weight in candy. And then for some of us, we got to get that haircut on that Saturday morning.
I think I had the same dilemma this year. I was asking ChatGPT to help me out because last year I was proud of myself for coming up with an idea, dressing like a conditioner bottle, but like playing classical music on my phone with a powdered wig to go as a classical conditioner. I thought was funny.
I remember that. Yes,
psychology, and then I went as an operant conditioner for later in the day.
I remember that.
Yeah. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, it's not for you. That's it.
That's fair.
Leave it there. Yeah.
That's fair.
This year, I was like, I kind of want to go as the placebo effect and just walk around in a shirt that says, I feel better already eating like sugar cubes out of a pill bottle.
That's deep.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to get it. And those are the ones that I like.
It's a good story to tell. And it's brilliant. But in the moment, will people get if they have to think too hard about it?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Out of school.
Yeah, well, yeah, thinking hopefully does occur there. Speaking of which, Brad, we have a lot to talk about on this episode.
Yeah,
of course, we're going to discuss the latest in WWE, AEW. We also have a movie review on this episode. I finally saw the movie Weapons, And I have a lot of thoughts on it that I want to share for you. And it's actually perfect timing since Halloween is later this week.
I was this close from watching it this weekend, but I had to go watch a play. Great play. But.
I suspect you will feel a way about this movie as well, but we will get there very soon. But Brad, speaking of hopes, of wishes, of desires, of characters, of playing dress up, we're going to start this episode a little bit differently. We are going to begin with a Golden Bachelor update because there are only 2 more episodes. And Hometowns just occurred last week, and I have a lot to say about it. So it's time. Let's hit the music. A rose from me.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Brad, the sacrifices I make for this podcast. I have sat through every episode of season 2 of The Golden Bachelor with former Michigan Wolverine football star Mel Owens. I do this because I love you and because I love our audience, even though I haven't loved this season as much as I hoped I would.
But the true horror story for Halloween.
You know what? That's also a great thread, a great connection for this episode. Yes. So for Hometowns, there were just 3 contestants instead of the traditional 4. Entering this episode, there was Peg, Cindy, and Diane. I'll let you know right off the bat, Diane was eliminated, which was pretty shocking because she seems to be the most down for Mel. She's actively spoke about, I'm falling for him. I'm ready to get married. This is going to happen. And then it didn't. And then it didn't. She got the boot. Very sweet. I could easily see her being the next lead for the Golden Bachelorette. We shall see on that. Peg, hot girl Peg, is still my pick. Is still my pick to go all the way. She did receive a rose. So at this point, there's Peg, the 62-year-old retired firefighter and bomb technician from Las Vegas. We haven't spoken about that enough. Incredible professional background. And then there's Cindy, the 60-year-old retired biomedical engineer from Austin, Texas. I will shout out Peg during this episode. Part of her hometown was she took Mel to her old fire station. So even, I don't know how many firefighters you and I know, Brad, but even the idea of being a firefighter, it's so fascinating. You and I often discuss how unique the teaching profession is. I wonder what it's like to be a firefighter. It seems such a the people you work with, I guess, kind of like teaching, you just really develop close relationships. And so Peg was introducing Mel to all these guys she used to work with, and Mel was hanging just fine. But point being, Brad, it's down to these 2. My favorite part, actually, let me rewind. My rose this week goes to the Bachelor production team. You and I have been critical of them in seasons past, but I got to give it up. They totally made Mel the villain of this episode.
Nice.
Which was long overdue. Yeah, a reason to celebrate, in fact. I'll quickly share with you, during the Hometown with Peg, post fire station visit, Mel met Peg's family, including Peg's daughter. And you know how this goes. Mel will have breakout time with certain family members, so he got one-on-one time with Peg's daughter. And of course, paint by numbers, Peg's daughter asks Mel, so what do you like about my mom? Brad Winchester, when I tell you our lead this season, Mel Owens said, her energy. And rightfully so, Peg's daughter asked, oh, well, what about her energy? And I kid you not, Mel says, she's alive. So, aside from having a pulse, what is it about? She didn't say this part, but as a viewer, we're thinking, Mel, come on, you gotta share more, you gotta open up. I like her energy. That's something I would say if someone asked me, how do I feel about my yoga instructor? She's alive, she's energetic, or that this is someone that you're courting that presumably you'll be proposing to in a couple weeks. So Mel's restored his villain era. I think that's largely in part due to how he was produced on this episode. Just 2 episodes remain, Brad. There's the Women Tell All this coming week, and then we'll get the highly anticipated season finale. Mel has not been a great lead whatsoever. I am still riding with Peg all the way. I say she takes it. I think she's even an underdog at this point, but I'm going to say Peg goes all the way. I think there's a real chance, Brad, closing us out, that maybe the women turn on Mel and he doesn't leave with anybody. We shall see. I will report the latest from these last 2 episodes. And shout out to Peg's daughter as well. Maybe she should get, scratch that. Batch production, you did your thing on this episode. Peg's daughter, gets my rose for this week. Great questioning. Way to hold Mel accountable. We need more of this.
Peg looks like in her headshot for the show, she looks like she cleans up well, but spent a great deal of time in a very tight ponytail, wearing a work uniform and kicking all kinds of butt and whatever job she's doing. She's the face of somebody that was in charge for a while.
100%. 100%.
Right? Like, I look at her
woman.
She also looks like she played softball.
She does.
I don't know how else to describe it. She looks like a softball player too. So if you said, she used to go yard at least 2 times a game playing D1 softball, I'd be like, oh yeah, look at her.
She is one of our favorites of the season for a reason, but I don't know what else to tell you. Definitely revolutionary. She expressed this during the day, which I thought was cool. Being a woman in that field.
Yeah, firefighter bomb tech, man.
Yeah, during her prime, 90s, 2000s, definitely ahead of her time in that regard. And clearly she's someone who is not going to put up with Mel's stuff. She gives the vibe that she would hold him accountable and not just be happy with, hey, Mel, what do you want out of a partner? I want someone who's going to watch college football with me on Saturdays and just kind of, go with the flow. I think Peg might be a little bit too spicy for him. This is why, Brad, fans of the show are saying Cindy could be the pick here. But like you, I'm rolling with Peg all the way till the wheels fall off. How about that?
Yeah, Peg seems pretty great. I wonder if she spent any time with high-speed bombs on buses that if you drop below a certain speed limit, they go off. Anyway, Tyler, it's time for the 2 most important words in GI.
This is such a great way to start out the episode. I don't know how you're feeling, Brad, but I'm on cloud 9 right now. We go from batch talk seamlessly right into Steph watch. We are so up. Okay, Stephanie Vauquier. We took a week off from this update, and we are back. Stephanie Vauquier defeated Roxanne Perez on Raw. Of course, Brad, we know that Stephanie Vauquier is our women's world champion right now on Mondays. What a time wrestling. It is great. We're still loving this. There was a beatdown post-match by Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez on the champ. However, Nikki Bella reappeared on Raw, and she made the save. I would suspect there is a tag team match incoming. However, we know on tonight's episode of Raw, Nikki Bella will be taking on Roxanne Perez. I'm sure we'll see Stephanie Vauquier in that segment. But what I want to highlight here, Brad, came from the Raw broadcast. I did not realize this, but this is evidence of why Steph Watch is the arguably would be the 2 most important words here on GI. There was a Raw fact of the night. I don't know if you caught this.
No.
On the screen that popped up during the Stephanie Vauquier match. I think it may have been before, maybe it was in the middle. Anyway, and I quote, with 25 victories this year, Stephanie Vauquier is the winningest superstar in WWE in 2025.
That's crazy.
Not that we needed justification for the Steph Watch segment, but my goodness, Brad, what a year it has been. I can't wait to see the rest of the year in the world of Stephanie Vauquier. This is great. I'm so happy. I'm elated.
Yeah, you sound like you're on cloud 9. That's a good stat there. I heard a stat,
right?
That maybe she's on these lines. I heard a stat that will never be broken, and it's a Wilt Chamberlain stat. It's not that stat. You know the one. It's the other one. He averaged number one. He averaged 48.5 minutes a game. But there was a season where Wilt he averaged, I believe he was averaging 40 points per game, 41 points per game. And I know he averaged 40 points per game. Let me see what it is. He averaged 50.4 points per game in the 61-62 season. Tyler averaged 50.4 points per game in that season. Listen, I know he doesn't have, it's not the same level of competition and stuff.
I was gonna say, are we gonna talk about him playing against electricians and respectfully?
I don't care.
And accountants.
50.
Okay.
It's the ball still got to go through that hoop. Like you still got to get it in there.
54 points.
And those electricians, during that time when you also might be getting like actual hate crimes out on the court too. Like, I also have to consider he wasn't just fighting electricians. He might have been fighting the damn Klan out there.
No, he's fighting racism too.
Like,
that's a great point.
He was dunking on civil rights. Like he was out there. I can't, like, I think about that era all the time, like the quality of play. Yeah, we can acknowledge that a lot of it was hot garbage. We can acknowledge that if you're playing before 3-point lines were a thing, like, yeah, maybe we don't quite put that into the same level. Maybe we're not like, yeah, koozie. Maybe we're not doing stuff like that. Maybe we're not, but they had other stuff. It's like watching the NFL. I mean, like, well, that player wouldn't be that good in this era. Ronnie Lott was out there ripping people's heads off. That dude broke his finger so bad that he cut it off so he could go back into the game. Like, that's a thing. So I look at that stat and I think about just the 50 points average for a season, averaging over a point a minute and playing the whole game is just absolutely crazy to me. Stephanie Vaquer is on that kind of run right now. That's the kind of year she's having. She's having a wilt average 50 points because they're making it look like she's out there against electricians.
And on the broadcast, I forget if this was Wade Barrett or Joe Tessitore. I want to say it was the latter who mentioned that arguably, I think this was during her newly revamped entrance, which is fire, by the way, that Stephanie Vaquer may be the hottest star in all of wrestling. And of course, commentary teams, regardless of company, their job is to hype up the talent. This is one of those comments where I thought, you know what? Yeah, as we approach our year in review extravaganza, that episode, that conversation here in a couple months, Stephanie Vaquer, I think, is going to be, I mean, she's already kind of where the conversation starts and ends here at GI, but especially for our year in review episode, you cannot tell the story of pro wrestling in 2025 without highlighting the accolades of La Primera, man. It's been amazing. Everything I've wanted, everything I've hoped for, everything we've deserved, and then some. So happy for her. She's doing her thing.
You have been consistent on this point through and through. I knew she was going to be a big star. I'm just glad we're here.
Happy to be here.
That's not your WWE question you have for me, so go ahead and hit me with it.
Yeah, so I want to stick with the women's division, as a matter of fact. Big week for wrestling in Arizona. SmackDown happened at ASU's hockey arena at the Mullet.
Tempe,
yes. Meet me at the Mullet, one may say. And Brad, this was a show that some could argue was lacking in star power. I mean, of course, you had Cody Rhodes, you had Drew McIntyre, Zelina and Alistair popped up, Ilya Dragunov appeared for the first time as U.S. champ. The MFTs were there, so on and so forth. However, there was a big surprise after Tiffany Stratton's match. Jade Cargill reappeared on SmackDown. And so I'm skipping over a few beats here, but we'll get to the most important part. She ended up turning on Tiffany Stratton. She first saved Tiffany Stratton. Again, another post-match beatdown at the hands of Julia and Kiana James. Jade's music comes out. She takes care of those two and then props up Tiffany Stratton. Oh, here's the champ. I saved you. Crowd is clapping for both of them. And then she hits Tiffany with a wicked clothesline, cementing this potential heel turn. So later on that night in the back, when asked about her actions, and this was Kathy Kelly who was interviewing Jade Cargill, why did you turn? Why did you do that? Jade Cargill said, and I quote, "This world doesn't respect patience. This world respects power." Talk your stuff, Jade. That is very, very true. So my question, Brad, what do you think about Jade Cargill's SmackDown return and this updated presentation? What are your initial thoughts? And do you think this is going to get us to where we need to go, which would be Jade, officially becoming a singles world champ in WWE? What say you?
I hope so, because we've had injuries preventing all of these things from happening, right? Naomi's turn, the genesis of that was brought on by, as I cough myself to death, brought on by a Jade Cargill injury. And then we started getting the payoff for all of those things occurring and the overlap with Bianca and all that. And then we had another injury. And I just feel like she's been hampered by injuries. She's grown a lot since she's been there. But I wonder where she is now in the ring in matches. But I think what how do I frame this? I think one of the things that's difficult to even talk about, because it sounds super negative, is WWE trying to be purposeful about using Jade Cargill's strengths, which is her damn strength, like using her actual She doesn't need to do all the things the other people do. She's a monster. Like, she's one of one. Like, have her just pump kick people into oblivion, hit him with a Jaded, throw a nasty clothesline, hit him with a power bomb, yeet him around the ring a little bit. She's bigger and stronger than everybody. She looks incredible. Like, have her be Nia, except like if Nia were just super shredded. They're the same kind of like big physical thing. Actually, that's the match I want. I want Nia versus Jade. That would be a lot of fun. Who's the more powerful person in the ring? Because they're both super strong. That would be a ton of fun. But I think this is the way to go with her. Like, acknowledging, like, yeah, it is about power. And I don't mean control. I mean, like, I'm more powerful than everybody, and have her go out and just start hossing people. Like early Rhea, right? Like, remember when they changed her? She got to the main roster, and then they had her smiling all the time and stuff. And now she smiles, but it's like, it's not the same kind of smiling. It's not smile because I like kids and I'm trying to be people friendly. Now it's smile because, like, I know I'm about to hurt somebody. And it's all like the devious smiling. I freaking love that for Rhea. But when they made her something she wasn't when she came up from NXT, where she was this just strong, awesome around badass, why aren't we doing that with Jade? And they do that, but they like hide her in a tag match, or they whatever. Like, it's okay to have a short match. She's bigger than everybody. Like, have her go in there and actually just defeat people. Like, that's okay. So I'm here for it. I hope she gets strapped up soon. I think a Jade run with a belt where everybody's chasing her as a bad guy. I think that's where the money is. Like, Roxanne Perez eventually turning face, facing a gigantic Jade Cargill to win that title, where you have a literal like giant killer. You go full Rey Mysterio for that match. I think that could be a ton of fun. I think, yeah, man, like I see so much potential. Yes, I'm here for a heel Jade, or just an honest Jade, which feels like a heel. Your Halloween costume. That guy went out there as a full heel and people loved him for it. So I could see the same thing happening with Jade. Kind of the way that Rhea got right back into babyface land without doing anything but being Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know that Jade's first year, 2 years, however long it's been, I think it's probably closer to 2 years now, in WWE has been a complete fumble. We had the tag title run with Bianca, like you said.
No, I don't think so.
No, we had the big three, as you so eloquently put it, with Naomi. And, I think we're at a stage now, Brad. Granted, Bianca and Naomi are off TV, but Jade really feels like the third wheel thinking about that group. And I don't know that initially I would have presented it that way, but Naomi has made huge strides as a character. And I think there was just generally this awakening amongst the larger fan base of, Naomi is a clear superstar, and she's just brilliant, and we should really acknowledge her as such. So not that everything is about rankings, but I think back to when you and I first started watching Jade in AEW, and then when she had that TBS title run, and then, dare I say, when you and I both respectively bought her AEW action figure, and not the standard one, the standard one. If we can flex for a moment, the $49.99 1 in 3,000 exclusive TBS title featured figure, we got that, right? Because we just saw Jade. I still feel this way, as you pointed out. You see her and it's like, oh man, she has presence. This is different. She is, a future WrestleMania main eventer one day, dare I say. I know that's certainly how we felt back in the day. I remember our fantasy draft special with Matt from That's Freaking Wrestling. Shout out to Matt Rhodesia and Eshawn. And there was a time, this was circa 2022, 2023, where my first draft pick or picks involved Jade, because I was so high on what Jade could deliver. And looking at the women's roster now and kind of what is that pecking order, I'm hopeful that her having a bit of a repackaging here could do wonders for where she's at in WWE. If she ends up having a renewed feud with Tiffany Stratton and she ends up getting that belt, really eager to see what could come. But my point is, this was sorely needed, because we know whenever Bianca comes back, she's going to be Bianca, for my money, the greatest wrestler in the world. When Naomi finishes, her maternity leave and comes back, she's going to be going after the title that she never lost. And then what is Jade? Where does Jade fit into all this? I think it was time for her to have a renewed package, and I think the way they presented her on SmackDown is the way to go. Maybe she's not a villain, maybe she's not a babyface, maybe she is just Jade Cargill, because she, in many ways, is one of one in that respect. I'm here for it. I'm excited. I'm hopeful.
I am too, and I think just let Jade be Jade.
Period.
Easy, right? So my question's pretty straightforward for you, Tyler. Cody and Drew, Saturday night's main event.
Okay, this Saturday, Salt Lake.
What are your thoughts?
I still love Drew McIntyre. Cody Rhodes is QB1. He is the face of WWE. So I should be excited about this. This should make a lot of sense. However, we just saw this match, and I could look silly in about a week, Brad, but I still believe that Drew McIntyre has no shot of beating Cody Rhodes and becoming champ. I think we're entering this period in Cody's run where it's worth having the conversation, much like we did with Roman Reigns' story title run. Who is the right person to dethrone Cody? Who either can gain the most from that rub, from getting that win, or storyline wise, what would be the juiciest way to go? It ended up being Cody to be the guy to dethrone Roman. You and I were debating, is it Braun Breaker? Is it main event Jey Uso? Is it someone we haven't named yet? Now with Cody's reign, who is the right person to win? I don't know that Drew McIntyre needs that victory. I think there are other candidates who would be a better fit, a la even maybe a Braun Breaker. Let's say, even though I know he's on Raw, so maybe logistically that wouldn't work out. But I love the ingredients here. The storyline just isn't hitting for me in the way that one may think it would. I'm far more invested in other matches on Saturday's card. Of course, we have CM Punk versus Jey Uso, who's going to be the champ replacing Seth Rollins. I'm more invested in that one. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just overall, we're at a point in Cody's reign where it's felt a little bit stagnant for me. And again, I think part of that is not, I think most of that, it's not a lack of love for Drew McIntyre. I think he's kind of the archetype of what a great wrestler should be in terms of just his attributes. He's one of the best in the world. But I just don't believe that he has a realistic shot to beat Cody. Again, I could look really silly in a week if he ends up doing that. But if Drew McIntyre takes another L on a big stage, it leads me to think, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I feel the same way. We just saw this, and they do this occasionally, but it's, I don't know how you feel, but I just don't feel like they've done a good job of building this feud at all. It's just what they've done is they've taken everything good about Drew McIntyre and made him whiny, but in like not a good way. Mm-hmm. Because he keeps finding no, I have a real reason to be upset about these things. And then
right. You all are gonna cheer for Cody when he did this, and this.
Yes, but then he'll go out there and lose. And then it'll be the same thing the next week. I can't believe it. Mm-hmm. You people still, and it's like, this is old, man. Mm-hmm. This is you got to find a different reason. At some point, you got to go he keeps beating me and I'm pissed. I know I can beat him. I want another match. Just do that. It's easy.
Does it remind you of the Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes feud at all,
yes.
but not as good?
Yes.
Okay.
100% what I was thinking.
I think that's where I'm going to, listening to your thoughts. Just not as good.
I just feel like both titles are in a weird place right now. Drew and Cody, I don't really care. Punk and Jay, can the answer be neither of them? Mm-hmm. I don't, because what I think will happen is Punk will win and then Jay will flip and beat the crap out of him for no good reason. And then
I was gonna ask you, Saturday's got to be Punk's coronation, does it not?
I think so, but it'll also be his beatdown, and then we'll get CM Punk versus Jey Uso 27 times in a row, all of Cody and Drew. Because I don't know, they're out of ideas. I really don't know. I have an idea. Braun Breaker's sitting right there. Maybe that.
Right.
Maybe you throw War Games in there and.
Right. That's
but what factions are they going to be? Is it going to be the Bronze? Because they're down a man, and then is it the Bronze and the who after that? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Who do you get? New Day, the Bronze. I don't care about any of that. The Vision I care about right now. Braun Breaker should be in that title match, not anybody else but Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker versus I don't care, whoever is going to lose to Braun Breaker is who should be in that match. That's what the match should be. So I'm excited that I still feel good for CM Punk being back and having the spot and getting to work with the younger talent and help them out and all that stuff, and get a second run in WWE. I feel great that Jay gets to have these big moments and big spots and have the spotlight on him. I think that's great. It's kind of just cold for me. Whatever. I'll probably tune in, just maybe not. I don't know. I got a lot going on. So there's a chance that on Saturday night, my main event will be get this other splinters out of my hand because I have so many in there right now. Tyler, I wanted to pivot here and ask you something. Do you have a top 5 list? I have a top 5 list, but I have a top 4 list. And this time, in honor of GI's 4th year, which is so crazy, I have a top 4 for 4 years. Now, I'm not going to introduce it with imaging. I am going to say that I'm going to change something up here. Tyler, I have one OLI. Ready? Here's my OLI of my top 4 things from GI in 4 years. Our old logo. Now, our old logo up in the top right corner right now, I believe to be one of the greatest logos of all time. And I'm also glad it's gone, but I'm going to leave that up there for the time being. So that's my OLI. Okay, here we go. All right, number 4. Thinking people would want to hear about grad school. That's right. We had a segment dedicated to our week in grad school, which is certainly a thing we did on the show. Number 3. Embracing the mess. One of the key tenets here at GI is just embracing the mess. I love it. Tyler, number 2. Getting to be a part of 19 Media Group. Go check out the other content on there. We have not done a State of 19 in a hot minute. So check out everything going on in 19 Media Group. And finally, Tyler, number 1. Just getting to have cool opportunities to work with dope people like yourself. So I'm going to say happy 4 years. Glad we've been around. Super excited about all we get to do. Here, let me help you out. Let's see. Did I turn it? There we go. Little hearts coming up now. Little congratulations to us for 4 years.
I just want to point out to our audience, I had no idea that this was going to happen. You gave some teases now in hindsight during the meeting about some new sounds and maybe you were cooking up something. But I love that it was organic. Yeah, Brad, you put it perfectly, man. We could have a whole episode, I'm sure, dedicated to the memories, the bloopers of Gimmick Infringement, but so grateful for you. 4 years is surreal and just incredible.
Crazy.
The people who've believed in us, people who have tuned in, the people who have joined us on the show, and like you said, all of our fantastic colleagues here at 19 Media Group.
Yes, it's wild thinking that we probably missed 4 or 5 episodes in total, all because I was sick. Like,
we've done well.
We've done
luckily
a pretty good job.
Knock on some wood somewhere. We've done well. We've hung in there. It's been a blast.
Totally agree. And speaking of hanging in there, the ratings were out this week, and man, people are still obsessed about those things with all the playoffs going on and basketball season starting. Like, one of the things that we got to talk about at some point, Tyler, involves basketball, but we'll get into it later on. Tyler, it's time to talk AEW. Hit me with your question.
Yeah, All Elite Wrestling. Okay, I was surprised by Dynamite this week for one main reason. I did not expect us, as if we're on the payroll for AEW. I did not expect AEW to lean into the possibility of running back several of the feuds that we saw in the lead up to Wrestle Dream. I know Full Gear is in November. I know it's going to be here in a few weeks. Typically, historically, Brad, a big show, one of the big 4 shows for AEW. So I'm very hopeful that the card is going to rule. I think that date is November 22nd for Full Gear, if I'm not mistaken. So
sounds right.
Plenty of time to build up that card. But my question for you is, which feud, again, from Wrestle Dream that appears to be continuing on the road to Full Gear, which feud, if any, are worthy of running back? And is there any upside to this strategy? So, for example, based on Dynamite, this could all change this week with whatever happens at Dynamite Fright Night. But it appears, maybe this is a swerve, it appears we're getting Samoa Joe versus Hangman once again. The Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate. We are getting Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné. We know that for sure. That was a match that happened 1 year ago at Full Gear. And now, even though Mercedes has 12 other belts and is also in the tag team tournament alongside Athena, she is getting the Chris Statlander match. I just have many questions about what's happening right now. But once again, I'll repeat myself. Which, if any of these feuds, do you believe is worthy of running back? And if my prediction comes true and we get a lot of these same matches, is there any upside that you see to this strategy?
I'm going to say Joe and Hangman. I'm looking forward to, because I thought they had a fun match, and I think they could raise the stakes a little bit, raise the physicality a little bit, and have it be just a slugfest. I think it could be a lot of fun, especially him going in hot as a heel. I look forward to the promos more than anything else. So that one I can see being really great. Other than that, I'm kind of good with just moving on. I don't want to see, especially when it comes to having to pay for something. It's different. It's different having, a TV event. But if you're a streaming TV person like I am, I don't have cable. I'm not turning on NBC for Saturday night's main event. I have to stream it on Peacock, which requires a subscription. To watch Cody and Drew on a PLE, it requires a subscription. Now one that is like my mortgage payment. So it's a lot tougher for me, I guess. When you pay for a monthly subscription service, you get all the content in the world, plus you get that PLE. So that's one part of it. With the WWE model, that I guess it's a little bit easier to take just because we get, a library with it, where AEW, I'm going to pay for this one pay-per-view. I'll get to watch this one pay-per-view in some places for the next 60 days and then never again. And then, by the way, you don't have access to anything else. And if you do it through Max to get the cheaper price, you're really not getting a cheaper price if you're already paying for a Max subscription. You're just paying on top of your Max subscription. So, and ultimately they're like not even the same cost. The $30 WWE subscription is cheaper than an AEW pay-per-view, and you're getting the same amount of premium live event pay-per-views, whatever, a month. So whenever I got to pay AEW, though, I'm paying specifically to watch those matches, not to have all the content. So to run one back, especially if a place is going to take my money again, for a match that I wasn't like, this is an all-time classic. It was a good match. But am I going to sit here and be like, it's one of the greatest matches of all time? If it's like up there with an all-timer in the company or just an all-timer, I would be like, yeah, let's do it again. I just don't think it's going to be an all-timer. It could be. I could be totally wrong. And by it, I mean any of them. Chris and Mercedes, probably not going to be an all-timer. It's probably going to be a great match. Samoa Joe and Hangman, probably not an all-timer, probably going to be a great match. I'm invested in the storylines. I want to see that part, but right now I'm not pay-per-view invested. I'm not, this is the thing that gets me the $50. Cause for AEW, it has always for me been, oh, that match is going to rule, not, oh, that storyline is going to be great. Cause for like WWE, when Cody won the title, it was like the period at the end of that multi-chapter book. But like when you look at I know this was on Dynamite, so it's a bad example, or Rampage or whatever it was. Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson for no reason at all. I would have paid for just that. That would have been the only one. Yeah, just give me that and I'm happy.
Yeah. That we remember that moment from the Arthur Ashe show or the Dynamite Grand Slam when I forget how many people
the bell rang
were
and
in the venue.
A minute of them looking.
That had to be what, 15, 20,000 people who were just losing
insane.
Their minds at Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson staring.
I was standing up in my bedroom, just standing up.
I love that for you. Whenever that moment appears on the timeline, I always it's one that I stop for and I always watch. Do too. for no grabs, for no moves at all. Just the feeling that we had that night, seeing
Just the
those
lead
two
up,
fight,
man.
just to see
So
who's the
good.
best. Yes,
And that was his first match in AEW.
that's nuts.
Isn't that insane?
That was following All Out, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he debuted and then came out and was like,
of,
what was your problem? He's like, I think I'm better. You think you're better? Let's find out. And then it ended up being a 30-minute draw. And we never got it run back. And we don't know who's better.
That could be an all-in Texas 2026 match.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll come out.
London. Right?
I imagine he's got another one in him, and that would be the one. If Kenny were like, I want to retire and I want it to be with you.
That's it.
He'd come out.
That's it.
They would go out and create magic. Yeah.
Let's put it out there. That's it. That's the one.
So there's nothing like that for me right now. Especially it's the same. It's the Cody Drew problem, right? We just saw it. So that's the part I think is the part that I'm having a hard time with.
Yeah. And it's understandable, Brad, because with some of the talent mentioned, I don't think Samoa Joe has a shot at beating Hangman if he ends up being the number one contender. Again, speaking about what's coming up this week, Wednesday, Dynamite Fright Night, it was announced on Collision that there's going to be a 4-way match to determine who will face Hangman at Full Gear. Joe versus Hook versus Lashley. And there's a fourth person I'm forgetting. Clearly, I'm crushing it on this episode. But there could be the chance to pivot and have Lashley win that match. And then Lashley versus Hangman feels fresh. It's brand new. Granted, I still think Hangman's going to win, but I would be much more invested in seeing what that match could be. I think a first time ever matchup, in fact, versus Hangman and Joe, which we just saw last month. And by the way, Brad, Samoa Joe is already a champion. He's a trios champion, just like Mercedes already has multiple titles. And Athena's the ROH champion, but they're going for I just think the roster is at a place right now where it's so deep and it's so talented that if a wrestler is already a champion, I don't know that I want to see them fighting to become a double champion. I just don't think that's needed given the volume of talent that you have across the roster. So I'm very curious to see if there's any pivots that are made this week. I would for sure pencil in Jurassic Express winning their 4-way number one contenders match this Wednesday to take on Bro Dito at Full Gear. That would be a great matchup. Very similar styles in terms of those four. I think that would be a reason to tune in to Full Gear. If we end up getting Okada versus Takeshita at that show in Jersey next month, that's also a reason to drop your, what'd you say, $40 for the pay-per-view if you have HBO Max already. So Full Gear, I really think AEW's got to land it with this one, just based on the history of the show. And
that pape is so big.
I think some pivots would need to be made, though. I don't know that the fan base would be down for running back, let's say 3-4 matches that we just saw at Wrestle Dream. Why would the Demand need to face the Hurt Syndicate again? We love all the ingredients, but that rivalry is done. We don't need to see that again.
I'm looking because I was like, oh man, maybe we get Jay White back, but it looks like probably 2026 before he can come back. So I was just looking it up because I was like, oh, that would be a good one to come back out for. Yeah, I'm sure there are people, Keith Lee, that might come back and Dan hasn't.
We can only
surprise us. If I just put a tweet out there, dude, like if Danhausen doesn't come out during Fright Night, what are we even doing?
I missed that. You have a good point.
It makes no sense to me that he's not being used constantly. Like if the point is to get an audience to interact with it, like he's perfect. Maybe he wants stuff that they're not willing to do. Maybe he's like, yeah, I want to be in main title matches and stuff. Like, why? I would also say that. But you got
there has to be
imagine him trying to curse Samoa Joe. How funny would that be?
Right, for sure. It would feel great.
Muscle busted immediately. Like
so obviously we're releasing this episode on Monday, as we do every single week, 4 years running. It would be amazing if on Wednesday Danhausen returns and then we can clip this. Social media team, we can clip this and take credit for getting something nice that we've wanted.
Yeah, I want good things for people that I enjoy seeing, and I enjoy him. I enjoy Keith Lee. I enjoy lots of people, Britt Baker, that we haven't seen in a while. So hopefully we get that on AEW TV Athena. Tyler, what do you What do you think of Tony Khan's matches for cash instead of for titles as a way to raise stakes for a program?
It's unique. don't recall seeing that before the last few years of AEW. I'm even thinking back to early AEW, circa 2019, 2020. I don't know that there were a lot of cash
Back
match.
when the Dark Order was the best thing on television.
Yes, indeed. I don't know that there were a lot of cash matches, so it seems like it's a relatively new trend of having these $100,000,
Mhm.
$500,000 matches. I'm okay with it. I mean, it's wrestling. It's okay. I'm in kayfabe, right? The wrestlers are fighting to become champion,
Yeah, it's a MacGuffin, right? Yeah.
and at the same time, yes, fighting to make money. And ideally, if you're the champion, you're making the most money. So I'm fine with it. I don't want it to be a crutch to rely on to sort of put on completely random matches or matches that don't perhaps make the most storyline sense. So I think Tony Khan and company have to be creative about not just going to it. But for example, I thought it was an incredibly effective use of that Jurassic Express Young Bucks match at Wrestle Dream, because for months we've had the Young Bucks transitioning to being the Broke Bucks.
Yes.
So it made perfect sense. And you can also, I love how they highlighted the AEW duffel bag that you can now get at shopaew.com. I don't know if they said it that outwardly, but I get the emails AEW. I know that that's a new piece of merchandise available.
Yep.
So that works well for me. I would argue that's probably the most effective use I've seen out of
Mhm.
that stipulation, Brad. But again, I just don't want it to be a crutch. However, in kayfabe, it makes sense. You're either fighting to become a champion or to make more money, or ideally, you're trying to get both. I'm good with it. What say you?
I love it. I think it gives matches stakes other than wins and losses, because
Definitely.
they still don't really they list them sometimes. They're on the graphic, but nobody seems to care anymore about wins and losses. And they used to matter and be explicitly important.
That's
And they're
true. It's
kind of
nowhere
not.
near as
No,
important as it used
nobody
to
even
be.
brings it up anymore.
No, that's a great point.
So it really bugs me, actually, because it's like, all right, this person's undefeated at AEW and they're not fighting for the championship. Okay,
Right.
all right, that's
We should have had hologram challenge John Moxley for
yep,
the men's world
yeah,
championship at Revolution,
yeah. Why not?
if that was the case. Right.
Yeah, and they're doing the stuff they're doing with hologram. I kind of hate, but right now, I just like it's like a way to honor Japanese wrestling more than anything else, and going like, you have like um, Justin Liger's alter ego underneath his costume, where he's like a demon. Um, I think that's kind of where they went with that, but it's like a glitchy hollow demon that's from the virtual void. I don't really understand what's happening. Um,
Yeah. And when hologram, okay, so we have this. Was it Clone? Is his name? And my understanding is hologram is injured, and this guy is his
yeah,
brother or their family or what have you. When hologram comes back from injury, I don't know that feud is gonna hit the way they think it does. And that's also a product of the Don Callis family continuing to acquire talent. So you have the Don Callis family, you have the Death Riders, and then you have the Ops, who are now heels.
yeah.
There's just a lot of heels on the show, a lot of bad guys running things. And I would hope creatively, as we head toward the end of the calendar year, there just is a better balance created. You have Hangman, of course, the champion we all root for. We know Swerve is out, Osprey's out, MJF possibly taking a sabbatical, even though he's a total bad guy. I just would like more balance on the roster, and I wonder who's going to be, who's going to be in that position to maybe be a part of the babyface team on the men's and the women's side. I think Chris Statlander is a babyface pretty certainly.
Yeah.
At this point, there were shades of gray. So your top two champions are
Yeah.
baby faces, but the show just seems overrun by villains right now. And I get it's Halloween
all
week,
in factions, all in factions.
it just,
There's no baby face factions. There were
no, you have the conglomeration, but
kind of. I don't care about that.
are they going to
You
be
care
the
about
ones to
that?
beat
Like,
the
I
Death
don't care
Rider?
about that.
No. I love all the ingredients once again. I know I said that a lot this episode, but it's just, I want Willow Nightingale to hold all the championships. I want Orange Cassidy to be a main title contender. The conglomeration hasn't hit for me.
All the baby faces sort of form tenuous alliances, but not factions. And the closest thing we got was the Ops, who just turned. So we don't really have anything. And you can say the conglomeration all you want, but they're always doing solo stuff. And then like all the conglomeration does is come out and like after somebody's getting their ass beat outside the ring, then they run out to save them. But it's like, all right, but what are you doing as a group? I guess you could argue the Hurt Syndicate is a babyface faction, but they're always doing their own thing and not exactly teaming up with people. So it's just really interesting to your point where they are right now. And I think having the money thing as a way to raise stakes, and then having people overlap, to your point, all the bad guys seem to get along with each other and the good guys can't figure it out. And it just makes the good guys look like dopes. The other thing about all the baby faces is they're all like wrestlers they're trying to build in terms of character and investment. But I don't think you can do that. I think you have to hate somebody so much that when their character changes to be a good guy, when they flip back, when they turn face, that moment becomes meaningful. And you can have a meaningful turn to heel, but like you can't right now. Like, I don't know how invested people are in Jet Speed as a tag team. I think, yeah, but in individual stars with Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, I don't know if I don't know how people feel about them as individual stars. They like their matches, but like, do they care about the character? What's your favorite Speedball promo? Like, there's a lot of videos he does on social, but I got nothing. Like, they're clearly going to be fighting people, but are any of us really going like, oh yeah, these really small young baby faces certainly have a chance against the Death Riders? Like,
but
they can't even beat that name.
Yeah, part of my, I was going to call it animosity, but that's probably too strong of a word. I think part of my hesitancy is that every week I come on here with you and I remind myself, oh yeah, the Death Riders are still a faction, and they're still, I mean, they're not running the company the way they were in storyline months ago.
I've enjoyed them more in the last month than I have in a long time.
Yeah, it's just time for the breakup already, and I do appreciate that there
or a change, something.
I know, yeah. I appreciate that there are seeds of, okay, Mox maybe doesn't have his fastball the way he did a year ago. Claudio and company are realizing that they're definitely going to turn on him at some point, and then Mox comes back as a heroic baby face, and we get Wild Thing back in arenas for his entrance. That'll be great. But even Darby Allin,
scripted violence.
Okay, fair enough. Darby Allin even comes back, or not comes back, but he has an in-ring promo following his main event victory against Mox at Wrestle Dream, and it was brief. It didn't really give much. It was just, and I'm going to continue fighting the Death Riders with my very last breath. And that was all. I thought to myself, okay, surely someone's going to come out and beat the brakes off Darby, or there's going to be something more. And, that left me worried that
last breath match, maybe.
Yikes.
Actually kill him.
That left me worried that, okay, what is Darby's match? Because he has to have a featured match at Full Gear, given how Wrestle Dream ended. If it ends up being Darby versus Mox last breath match, or Darby versus Pac, not that I don't love the aforementioned names, but again, if we're continuing Darby versus Death Riders, that again is a rivalry that I think we should put in the past and move in a different creative direction. Full Gear, it's important, man. It's important they land the plane for the show. This is one of their big ones.
Well, maybe they do Darby versus Daniel Garcia, or Darby versus Wheeler Yuta. Like, God knows Wheeler could use something here, because he's just sort of there, and he's always just taking the piss from everybody, and he doesn't ever win, and people are F Wheeler chanting.
Yeah, that's rough. Happy birthday, Wheeler Yuta. I saw his birthday over the weekend.
Yeah, I like him way too much for him to just have like, this guy sucks heat, because they don't know. He just screams and stuff. The stuff he's been doing, like the stuff he did with Chris, was awesome. Like, that stuff was all great.
Definitely.
And that was like, oh, they finally have something good for Yuta. Yeah. And then it's, that's done. So maybe it'll continue after this, and maybe it'll come back up, because I really like that dynamic so much. Tyler, it is Halloween week, and appropriately, you have a movie review, not a brand new in theaters movie, but a newer movie nonetheless. So play the music. It's time for GI at the movies.
And now it's time for GI at the movies.
Brad, I've been waiting all episode to discuss this film. We are going to be reviewing Weapons, as you mentioned, theatrical release earlier this year, and it is now available to stream on HBO Max. So, the plot. This film is set in Maybrook, Pennsylvania, where 17 children from a single third grade class suddenly run from their homes at 2:17 a.m. and disappear. Now, only one student, Alex Lilly, remains. their teacher, Justine Gandy, Miss Gandy, is placed on leave amid suspicion that she is responsible for the disappearance. What I love about this film is that it's presented in a narrative structure, a non-linear narrative structure with chapters for various characters, I should say, whose stories end up intersecting. We'll go spoiler free here. It's great, Brad. I think about kind of other narrative-based films we've seen, such as Him, staying in the horror genre, which I did not love as much as I enjoyed Weapons. Spoiler, I did really enjoy Weapons. So, Brad, this film is totally GI right here. Not only is it horror, not only does it include some predominant names in Hollywood, but again, it's also based around this classroom and this teacher and this mystery about children disappearing. It is director Zach Kreger's second film. You may recall the first one, Barbarian, did really well and developed kind of a, dare I say, cult following about an Airbnb gone wrong, if you will. I really enjoyed Barbarian. I think we may have even discussed it on this here podcast. This film is so much better than Barbarian. Bigger budget, better script. This film rocks. I think you'll really enjoy Weapons, Brad.
High praise. Let's go.
Yeah. The education connection of it. Again, I'll go spoiler free here, but the fact that it's based around a class and this mystery, I was already locked into that. But when you start unraveling the plot and how it all syncs together, and clearly how Zach Kreger is in total control of this film as a director, by the end of the film, it runs over 2 hours, so it has a pretty long runtime, 128 minutes in fact. But by the end of this film, you look back and think, man, Zach Kreger was doing his thing. Like he clearly constructed this. He was in control at all times. There are some comedic elements present as well. I wouldn't call this a horror comedy. It's certainly a horror. There are a few jump scares, but he's in control the whole time. You may recognize some of these cast names. Josh Brolin is prominently featured. Yeah. Julia Garner plays Justine, the teacher.
It's a great cast.
It really is.
I saw the gas station scene.
Oh my god!
A couple
Benedict Wong.
So,
Yes. Yeah. This film. The brilliance of it is that if you look at the trailer, which I know you've seen, actually that was mentioned here. Freya, you're speaking third graders. Your daughter saw this trailer as well, unexpectedly. So if you know, you know. So top four GI moments for the year. So this film, last thing I'll say is that the trailer is great because you're not spoiled by anything. I think you will walk into Weapons, Brad, having already seen the trailer, and by the end of this film think, wow, I did not see X, Y, and Z coming. The trailer was enough to potentially entice you or give you nightmares for the rest of the year. But then by the end of you watching this movie, you're like, oh wow, it did not spoil anything. I'm surprised at how this and this turned out. This film rocks. Zach Kreger is really developing a great name for himself, and I'm excited to see what else he does if he continues to stay in this supernatural mystery horror space. Weapons rocks. I can't wait to hear what you and our audience think.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch it now. I'll probably do that tonight. Okay, Tyler, I have a very short list, but what do we miss?
I have one item as well. My list may even be shorter than yours this time.
Mine has one item.
Perfect efficiency. The NBA is back. So first and foremost, again, another moment for flowers for our colleagues on 92 Media Group. Brad, you know this. We have so many great teammates on the network, many of whom are passionate about basketball. And it's the perfect time of year to tap in with them. So whether we're talking about the NBA Baseline with Warren Shaw and Cal Lee, or Desmond Powell of Hip to the Games. Des even released his first music project, his first EP. So big shout out to him. We have Ricky, Kwame, and the crew at Late Night Lake Show. We have Gerald with Heavy in the Paint. We have Believe in Fantasy with Robin. Brad, there's just creators everywhere. So if we can just stay in our NBA bag for a quick moment, if you visit gimmickinfringementpod.com, we have a new article that is NBA specific. It's actually highlighting Aaron Gordon of the Denver Nuggets. He put up a career high 50 points in a losing effort in overtime to the Golden State Warriors, but it stuck with me because I remember Aaron Gordon, the Arizona Wildcat, circa 2013, 2014. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to reflect on his evolution as a player and as a person over the last 11 years. And it seems right now he's entering arguably the most joyous stage of his entire career, playing alongside Nikola Jokic And I thought it would be just a cool opportunity to reflect on where he's at. So again, if you visit the website, gimmickinfringementpod.com, click on the writing section. The article is entitled 50, where we reflect and break down the journey that Aaron Gordon has been on over the last 10 to 11 years of his career.
So one of the things I was going to put on there, but you brought it up in the article, check out the article, was the gambling ring. I'm so sad.
I buried the lead. Yes.
With Chauncey. Chauncey,
Chauncey's your dude.
And the thing that sucks about it the most is that, hilariously, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh man, they were gambling. They were throwing NBA games, which Rozier probably. Now, Chauncey probably not, but maybe, I don't know. Is that it was a poker ring with a mob. That's the craziest part. It's like crime family syndicate stuff, and them gaslighting people into playing with NBA players to fleece their money. They call them marks, right? Like, but they call them fish. We got to get a big fish. We got these fish coming in. All of it is kind of insane to me and kind of hilarious. And looking at it, it looks absolutely like it was scripted for a pro wrestling show. So it's very appropriate here. Mine is also NBA centric, but it's slightly less NBA centric than yours. John Tesh and Roundball Rock are back. I forgot to bring it up last week, but we have Roundball Rock on NBA on NBC finally back. Yes, it made some cameo appearances during Olympics and stuff. First time since 2002. The video package for NBA on NBC was awesome with the interviews with past players and legends. Really, really cool. I was just really excited to see it. It hit me in my feelings. I had no interest in sitting there for a whole game, but I definitely caught the intro. I had to go in there for that because just the build up to it, and then that was so dope. Like, I missed that so much. I was transported back about 30 years, Tyler. This was so cool. I'm just so happy it's back. Really positive way to start the NBA season. Really negative way too. Between Kawhi and the Clippers scandal with the probably circumventing the cap, and now all the arrests, like not a great 6 months or so for Adam Silver, who concluded in both of those investigations that we're all good here. And now the FBI, and we're uncovering other stuff over here. This is so bad. It's a real bad look for Adam Silver in the league. And at the same time, I think Roundball Rock's going to cover it all up. And I think the other thing covering it all up is just Steph Curry existing, because holy bleep. And how the hell did Wembanyama grow? What do we mean he's still growing? He's 18 feet tall and he's had a growth spurt over the summer because he's 12. I got nothing.
Steph is amazing, and we are going to miss him dearly when he hangs it up. I think the NBA, as you point out, the league is going to be in good hands. Victor Wembanyama. My goodness. Insane. Shout out Jabari Davis as well. I knew I forgot a name earlier. Speaking of great NBA content affiliated creators on the network. I know Jabari is also in his boxing bag, but obviously he loves hoops as well. And yeah, Victor Wembanyama, I know he agrees with us. I mean, the dude is just a cheat code. His play makes me want to get the new 2K Brad just to see what it's like to play with him as a character. I've not done so yet, but you have a 7'4" basketball player who can literally do everything. And what we're seeing is the worst he's ever going to be.
He's the Live 95, like, create a character where you can put whatever stats you wanted on him, make him 12 feet tall, but have maximum speed and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So whether it's, we'll close on this. How about this?
So crazy.
On not a positive, but a real note, we have Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio. You mentioned Steph Curry in his golden years, no pun intended, with the Warriors still being incredible. We have Nikola Jokic. We have Oklahoma City, probably the favorite to win it all again. Yeah. Will the Suns win a championship in our lifetime? No. Probably not, but we can dream, and we can talk about it on this here podcast. This is really why
we sold. The Suns will be the new Seattle team.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
Seattle Suns.
I have the Seattle doesn't even sound
Suns.
right. Does Seattle get any sunshine? I've not been there.
No.
We love our Washington audience, but okay, yeah, there's a lot of clouds. At least we got
up there.
At least we got the Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah, we sure do.
At least
we sure do.
At least we got a squad. Brad, we also have a podcast. We've had a podcast for the past 4 years. We continue to have a great time here. And that is because all of you tuning in, especially if you've made it to the
end. Is this fireworks? Is this music?
Hey, come on now.
Hey, there we go.
Shout out
For
to our
4
YouTube
years.
viewers. Shout out to our audio listeners as well. We love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining us on our last episode of October. Be sure to follow us if you haven't already at GIPod19 across the social spaces for exclusive show updates and more. And we will see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.